for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I do not understand what it is.
All right, welcome back. It's JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. I know you have a little bit of a man crush right now on Anthony Edwards, JJ.
For good reason.
But Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or Jalen Brunson? Because
Anthony Edwards by a hair over Shai. By a hair. I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
But what's the context that we're doing? Because I take Jalen Brunson because he's the one who is scoring more than anybody.
He is scoring more than anybody, but Anthony Edwards has an athleticism and a swagger and a power he plays with that the other two don't possess.
Here's the pitch. Hey man, you never got to play with Walker Kessler. I know you were really looking forward to it when they drafted him. You can do that at Utah.
Sounds like a championship to me.
Just give all those picks right back to Minnesota.
Yep. Can we have Anthony Edwards now?
Oh my goodness.
It's our turn.
All right. Hey, guess what, everybody? It's that time of the day and that time of the week for us to dive in again to our opponent previews. This is what I love, is that we can double dip. Now that Utah and BYU are in the Big 12, and we can double dip and kind of get an idea of what's going on. In this case, we're jumping in and we're learning a little bit more about this Oklahoma State Cowboys team. McClain Baxley joining us on the program. He writes for GoPokes.com. You can go check out the byline there. McClain, thanks for being with us, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're in Oklahoma. Is everybody loving the Thunder right now or what?
It is fun. We were actually, my girlfriend and I, about a couple hours, we're going to go to a watch party to watch the Thunder hopefully get a Game 5 win. It is definitely a good time to be in Oklahoma City.
We really miss the NBA playoffs here in Utah. It's been a while.
Why would you do that? Hey, listen, on a further note,
you guys got a great team.
On a further note, I really miss my Seattle Supersonics being in Seattle still, but here we are. All right? that's what I've got.
It's all we have. It's all we have out here.
It's all we have. No, that's not true. College football is king, of course, in the state of Oklahoma. And last year, Mike Gundy, with a slow start and really kind of an interesting, storyline to be able to pull out what they did and to get to the Big 12 championship game. Where's Oklahoma State right now? Is there post-spring and some of the dust has settled on the transfer portal?
They're kind of right where they were back in December. Not many people left the team. They returned most of their seniors. They returned a lot of guys that could have maybe tested the waters in the transfer portal. This is a team that looks very similar to the 2023 10-win team. A lot of guys decide to come back, whether that's for fifth or sixth year, or whether that's foregoing the NFL draft, or whether that's foregoing the transfer portal. You guys are kind of bought in, and it's kind of just back to business, trying to build upon the success they had last season.
If you had to vote for the preseason Big 12 poll right now, 1 through 16, where would you put Oklahoma State?
I think Oklahoma State's got to be in the top three. Them, Kansas State, and Utah, I think, return a lot of pieces and have a lot of talent and favorable schedules. Obviously, Oklahoma State, hosts Utah. They go to Kansas State. Both those games are in the first half of the season. So by, mid to late October, we should know exactly where this team is and if they're going to be playing in Arlington at the end of the year or if they're going to be playing in the playoff come December. And I'd definitely put them in that top three. The order kind of shifts based on who you talk to and when you talk to them, but I definitely think they're definitely in the upper threshold of the conference.
If you are to kind of rate where the interest level of staying there as long as he can for Mike Gundy would be, where is he at? Is that a guy who wants to find his way out of Stillwater to a bigger job? I mean, he played ball there. He's coached there forever. He's one of the longest tenured coaches in college football. What's Mike Gundy's situation right now coaching? Because it always just seems like he's pissed to be coaching anywhere, I feel like, in college football.
I mean, he's a guy that just wants to go home, hang out on his ranch, watch some old movies, and just kind of hang out with his family. But he's a guy that's very happy, coaching his alma mater. I think a couple years ago, before I got here, there was rumors that he had interviewed at other schools and maybe an NFL look here or there. But he's very satisfied. Coaching in Stillwater, playing living in Stillwater, living in Oklahoma, and he understands the expectations that come with it. He's met them for the most part of his career, and just turning in 10 game seasons, 10 win seasons here and there, and obviously only one Big 12 championship so far. But he's definitely satisfied, and I don't think he's using this job to springboard to a bigger, maybe a more high-profile job. I think he's pretty satisfied coaching the Pokes.
With Oklahoma leaving and joining the SEC, what is the dynamic like now between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma? How's that changed, and how are people in Oklahoma dealing with this new reality?
I think you get a mix based on who you talk to, which fan base. Obviously, Oklahoma State kind of getting the last laugh last November, being able to win the final scheduled Bedlam game. I think now they're no longer in conference. They've already played in baseball and softball in the regular season, and that's in the past. I think now it's just kind of we're two living the state. I think there's maybe more favorable and more they're kinder to each other than they were 5 or 6 months ago. I think they're kind of seen as different entities, and it's not as big of a rivalry, especially in football now. They're obviously Oklahoma going to the SEC, might be taking a step back in as far as they're not going to be winning championships or competing for championships against the likes of Georgia and Alabama and LSU and Ole Miss. But I think it's definitely it's kinder waters right now. Again, if you ask an Oklahoma fan, they might still be pissed that they did not win the final Bedlam and losing the Big 12 championship, a Big 12 championship invite or a Big 12 championship berth in that game. But I think the tides are pretty calm right now.
What's the quarterback situation at Oklahoma State? Because last year, obviously, we were watching what Alan Bowman did, and now that he's back for is it going to be? This is like some real BYU stuff here. Is this his 7th year?
Is he 30 years old?
I mean, that's what we're kind of looking at here. Is he going into his 7th year, and is that the guy who's going to lead him to a possible Big 12 championship this year?
It is his 7th year. I believe he will be the starter. This time a year ago, he was kind of the presumed starter, but then we had that 3-game rotation of the 3 quarterbacks going each quarter and whatever that was for that first quarter of the season. But I think it's his team. This is his offense. He's talked with us a couple times in preseason, about getting more comfortable with his receivers, getting more comfortable with Ollie Gordon in the backfield, and it's really just feels like it's his team. Using that veteran experience, using the lessons he learned from last year, because last year was his first full season as quarterback after being a backup of Michigan for a couple of years. So getting back in the swing of playing 60-minute games, playing a full 10-game as a start, full 10 games as the true starter, it took some getting used to. And obviously he had the interceptions, but he also had the really nice throws here and there, and all those interceptions obviously weren't his fault, but. I think going in, here on May 15th, I think he is the starter, and I think the bigger battle in the quarterback room is who gets that backup spot if the time comes.
The best running back in the country lives in Stillwater. Ollie Gordon back for another year. An unbelievable season last year, and obviously it goes without saying that a lot of the success the Cowboys had was because of the way he was able to run the football. Can he repeat that performance this year? And if he can't, what does that do to Oklahoma State's chances?
Yeah, he's definitely got a bigger microscope and kind of a target on his back. This time a year ago, he was known, and there was an understanding both in Stillwater and across the Big 12 that he's probably going to be the running back, the RB1, if you will. But then, like you said, comes off, had a Doak Walker winning season, Heisman semifinalist, finished in 7th place in the Heisman race, but now he does have that target, and teams are going to be paying more attention to him. Will he be able to put together 900-yard games? I'm not sure, but if things don't go his way, that's where the pressure shifts to your 7th-year quarterback, a guy that has experience and played a lot of college football, and the pressure is definitely on him. Even though last season wasn't the perfect season that you would have liked from Alan Bowman, but if you take away Ollie Gordon, the pressure then shifts to the quarterback.
If you kind of look at this schedule here locally, as it's interesting because Utah will go down to Stillwater for the first time in its history, and they are one of the odds-on favorites to win the conference just right off the bat in their first year because they've got Kyle Whittingham and they have a really, really good quarterback in Cam Rising. So what could Utah fans expect on that trip to Stillwater and really kind of this Utah against Oklahoma State, which is one of those games that frankly is going to be the most difficult on Utah's schedule because it's down there?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the Big 12 championship in the first week of conference play, right? I mean, it's September 21st. It's Oklahoma State's first conference game, and Stillwater's a really cool town. I've gotten to live there for a year now, and it's everything you would want in a college town. All the restaurants and bars and stores, have black and orange everywhere. Go Pokes, go Cowboys. It's a really cool restaurants and cool stores in the town. But then it's going to be a game that. I think we'll know pretty early on, who is going to be playing in Arlington. Oklahoma State's had they host Utah, and the next week they go to Kansas State. So by October, we'll know what this Oklahoma State team is like, and who is kind of the favorite going into the rest of the season.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, we talk about. I think we all agree that Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State are three of the top 5 teams. Maybe throw Kansas in there, maybe one other team, but. These are the contenders in this conference in this new 16-team conference, and they're all going to play each other the first couple of weeks of the conference season. It's pretty crazy that the title could be not decided, but it's pretty crazy that Utah and Kansas State are on Oklahoma State's schedule before you even get to October.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State, they host two-time defending champion South Dakota State. They host Arkansas. They host Utah, and they go to Kansas State. All in those first 6 games. And so you kind of look at the back half of the schedule, these are kind of a lot easier. Still a lot easier path. Then you have bye weeks, and then you have some more home games and go on the road a bit more. But yeah, I mean, if Oklahoma State can get to that first, 5 or 6 games of the season, it's a gauntlet for sure. And then you can kind of, it's smoother in the second half of the season.
All right, moving on to the BYU side of things. The Cougars, of course, took Oklahoma State into overtime that it took to beat BYU. That was kind of a shock to BYU fans who had such a struggle, kind of going into those last couple games of the season because they didn't know who their quarterback was going to be necessarily. So now with the return trip coming back to Provo, how do they feel about taking on BYU, who was a tough out at least last year?
That was one of the crazier games of last season, and in a season that had so many crazy moments and wild finishes and everything. That game, I mean, at halftime, we were all in the press box, thinking the season is over. We're canceling our plans to Arlington, thinking that BYU is just going to put the nail in the coffin for Oklahoma State. And then Ollie Gordon in the second half just put things together and, scored 3 touchdowns in overtime to seal the victory. But yeah, it was a crazy back and forth game that, Oklahoma State fans kind of were able to breathe a sigh of relief after beating one of the newcomers then. And I think they'll be excited to go out to Provo, go out to Utah and kind of return the favor. And, like I said, that second half of the season where it's a lot of road games, especially going all the way out to Utah and the altitude and all the things that come with playing on a Friday night in Provo, a very special environment. I think it'll be very exciting to watch.
You planning on making that trip out on a Friday night in October?
Most years, yes. Unfortunately, I have to go to a wedding that weekend, so I will not be able to make the trip this year, but I guess in 2 or 3 years, when they go back out there, I'll hopefully be able to make it out there.
There you go. Hopefully you get out here soon.
Hey, Oklahoma State fans, blame McClain because come on, man, you gotta be there. If they lose and you're not there,
you're gonna go to a wedding and miss a chance to have a cougar tail. Come on, man.
I understand. I've made the case. I made the plea, but my better half is wanting the argument there.
I don't want you in the doghouse.
Now that part we understand.
You don't want you in the doghouse. Okay. But the next thing I wanted to ask you about was Oklahoma State's win total, according to Vegas, being 7.5. Too high or too low?
Too low. I think you look at history, you look at what Mike Gundy's done. I believe it's only 6 seasons out of 19 seasons that he's finished at 7 wins or fewer. I mean, every year it seems like they're doubting the Cowboys. I'm not saying every year. I'm not trying to be a homer and they're going to win the national championship this year. But, looking at their schedule, I think all of their losable games are in that first 5 games. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose to Utah. They're going to lose to Kansas State and, get a lot of wins. In the back half of the schedule, definitely at least 7, definitely at least 8. So I definitely think I would take the over there if you're betting on the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
All right, we're looking forward to it. We keep doing these opponent previews so we can understand a little bit, and we'll get as we get closer to the season. McClain will dip in as well and kind of see where everything's at as they get ready in the fall for this 2024 season. We're looking forward to McClain Baxley, Oklahoma State beat writer for GoPokes.com. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it.
There you go. That's not the trip you want to miss out on, right?
No, it's
like miss the trip to Lubbock.
I'm telling you, like,
you know what I mean?
I say this, I'm not trying to, brown nose our audience here that are diehard BYU fans, but I've been around the country to a lot of different places and games.
Nose.
I've been to Knoxville to watch a Tennessee game. I've been to the Big House. I've been to a lot of great venues across the country, and it's really tough to top those big giant mountains, snow-capped mountains in the middle of October. A cougar tail on a cool, crisp fall day in Provo. It's a scenic place. It's a great place to see a football game, and BYU, with the tradition they have there and some of the great moments that have happened in that stadium, and with the crowd, it's just a great college football environment. And if you're a college football fan or somebody who appreciates the game and the history of the game, it's one of those venues you want to go and experience. Rice-Eccles Stadium as well. So, yeah, it's a bummer.
Pretty tough to beat both those places.
It's a bummer he's missing the Provo trip, but he'll get to go to Waco the next week.
Fun.
Enjoy that.
Birthplace of Dr. Pepper.
Magnolia. You'll love that.
All right. Let me see here. Did we ever end up going through our BYU list? Do we need more time? We probably need more time.
Yeah.
Because JJ has.
Let me talk about this. Let me bring this up. We have a couple 3 minutes?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm okay with it because we can go through the full list maybe tomorrow, but there are some beats. If you want to go over to KSLSports.com and read up on Mitch Harper's next installment of the top 100 players of all time at BYU. If you want to get grumpy, talk to JJ about this because
we'll talk about it tomorrow.
All right. You're getting fired. You're getting
Everybody
too fired
listening, go find out where Rob Morris is ranked, and we'll have a talk.
Okay.
The one point I wanted to make is we're talking to him about Oklahoma State, and I'm looking at the schedule. It's like Utah, Kansas State, Arizona, Oklahoma State are all playing each other in September. What were the schedule makers for the Big 12 doing here? You have the biggest, most important conference games this season being played in September? I'm serious. Like Oklahoma State plays Utah and Kansas State in September. If they go 0-2, like
that's the end of the season.
I mean, probably. But they're playing West Virginia, BYU, Baylor, Arizona State, TCU, Texas Tech, and Colorado the rest of the way. What are the marquee? If you're looking at the Big 12 schedule, what are the marquee games? Right off the top of your head, what are the games you want to watch?
Of actual matchups?
Yeah.
BYU, Utah.
Okay, that's November 9th.
Okay. Oklahoma State, Utah.
Okay, that's in September.
I'd probably go like a. No, now I'm missing. Like a Kansas State, Oklahoma State.
That's in September. See?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
No, here's what they did.
Utah, Arizona, September. What were they thinking?
Yeah.
I want to see those games in November. I want Utah, Colorado on September 29th, not Utah, Kansas State.
By the way, 2017 recruiting class for Alan Bowman. That's some real BYU stuff right there.
So he's older than Zach Wilson.
Yes.
Who's already on his second NFL team.
Come on, Alan Bowman. You're supposed to be on your second NFL team by now. By the way, this is his third collegiate team. Started at Texas Tech, then went to Michigan, and now is at Oklahoma State. And yeah, they only granted him that. By the way, the NCAA, any waiver that comes across their desk, they're like, yeah, sure. I guess whatever.
We don't want to get sued. Oh, a class action suit? Yeah, we got it.
Fine. Yeah. You can have
antitrust suit? No,
you're in the recruiting class of 2023? Yeah, you can come on.
How old is he? 35?
Yeah. Why not? I can't say no. We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, why not?
My favorite thing, I went on, I can't remember where it was today, where I was reading, and Oklahoma fans are absolutely beside themselves because their first year of SEC scheduling, by the way, it is an absolute gauntlet compared to Texas's Charmin soft schedule. No, that's according to them. Oh, it's the easiest schedule.
Garcesian's the sixth best coach in the country.
Oh, yeah, man. Adele Dazeem. I mean, Brett Yormark, if you're going to get at a guy for leaving the conference, that's how you do it.
To give Coach Garcesian.
And what did the crowd think of that? Garcesian. First of all, would you buy a used car from a guy named Garcesian? No.
Well, maybe. But
hey, Garces, you got your guy coming out. The guy looking at that.
It's probably got a special title, if you know what I mean.
It's a salvage title.
Probably not on the up and up.
It's been. He's all. Hold on, I'm winding back the odometer over here. Help me out.
This vehicle may or may not have been stolen. But trust me, I'm Garcesian. Let's make a deal.
Oh, my goodness. That's why both of us at Garcesian and Garcesian want to help
That's
you.
That's a divorce attorney right there. I got in an accident called Garcesian.
To give Coach Garcesian.
This is a family business.
Our friends at Siegfried and Jensen have a run for their money now.
Garcesian and Garcesian.
There's a new lawyer in town, Garcesian. Don't call the other guys. Call me, Garcesian.
Family member deceased? Call Garces.
I don't get paid if you don't get paid.
Oh. All right. We got to take a break. We've full on gone off the rails. We're going to come back. We've got tons of NFL to jump into. Of course, the schedule leaks on top of the schedule reveal. And I already know what you're going to be doing on Christmas Day because it's the same thing I'm going to be doing. Stay right here with us, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
It's been a little bit rough out there on the rush hour. We have some big delays on I-15, basically right now between Rose Park and Point of...
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. About an hour away from RSL pre-match. And then a 7:30 match tonight with the Seattle Sounders.
Will Real Salt Lake ever lose again?
So the Open Cup.
Lost in Spark.
So the Open Cup one doesn't count. When you lose to, checks notes. New Mexico United.
That juggernaut down in Albuquerque.
I love New Mexico United. It's like, come on. All right. I mean, but we're Real Salt Lake, so I get it. Stealing everybody else's cool names. I get it.
Royal. We're Royal.
Oh, yes, we are. All right. NFL Roundup. That's what that music means. The NFL Blitz brought to you by... it's the America First Credit Union debit cards. The exclusive debit cards of the Utah Jazz, University of Utah Sports, Real Salt Lake, and more. Speaking of Real. Exclusively, America First Credit Union is where you can find them. Okay. The NFL schedule leaks that we do know of. Now, I think it's kind of funny that it's like, well, when you say they're leaked, who's leaking them? Well, the league is, right? They allow it. They'll allow it.
Create a little buzz before the show tonight.
Why not? So, I don't know how it happened, but Boomer Esiason guessed totally right.
What happened?
He's all, hey, what happened? So he goes, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deal with Netflix for a doubleheader on Christmas. Lo and behold, he was apparently in some meetings at CBS where he was privy to what was going on before he was let go. Chiefs and Steelers. That's going to be your 11 a.m. Mountain Time kickoff on Netflix. You heard right. Netflix. JJ, you going to get a subscription to Netflix just for these games?
I already have it.
Yeah, we've been
wrapped up
Peacock
and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus. When's it going to stop? When we going to? How many apps do I need to watch sports? How many?
So, Chiefs,
I keep
Steelers.
forgetting to cancel that Peacock after I
Oh,
pulled the plug on that Chiefs game.
You and 3 million other people.
Pulled the trigger, not the plug. Yeah.
You and 3 million other people have had a hard time giving up that subscription.
All of the Peacock revenue over the last 6 months came from that football game.
I had a. They don't make it easy. They're like, "Oh, you need to go online to cancel this." You're like, "I'm online." They're like, "No, on a computer." It needs to be running on DOS.
No Mac OS, no Windows.
You can't. I went in. Okay, so we switched car washes recently. This is total first world problem, but the lady's like, "Oh, okay. So any reason you're canceling?" Yeah, it sucks. It's expensive. It stinks. It's expensive. Yeah. There's lots of reasons, but can we just cancel it? Okay. Now I'm able to find one car on here. I haven't found the other one. I'm all same name. Oh, I found it. Yeah, you did. Like the amount of subscriptions that we have in our lives, the monthly everything.
Yeah.
But NFL's king, and I don't know anybody who doesn't have Netflix, and so I don't know if they're going to need people to. Do they need people signing up? I think more importantly, what they're doing
who doesn't have Netflix or who isn't ripping it off from their parents? Who doesn't have their brother-in-law's password to get access to it?
What they're really trying to do is, this is how you do it too. They're trying to make their live sports programming be a thing. And when you're doing like a couple of secondary sports here and there, not going to do it. So they went all in. And I don't know how much they paid, but you remember Peacock for just that one playoff game, paid $110 million.
Crazy.
Do you think the NFL makes a lot of money? They're going to make at least, I bet they'll make $200 million in this deal.
That's why the NFL's king.
It's Christmas Day. You've got Chiefs Steelers at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. You've got Ravens at the Texans. By the way, great matchup, right?
I got a number here.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh my gosh.
And C.J. Stroud. Was $200 million way off?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, what do we have? Okay,
Guess how much per game for the two Christmas
per game? Per game. Well, you said it's a lot. So I'm going to increase so it was 110 that they paid for, that Peacock paid for the playoff game. This is Christmas, which is a big deal, but it's not a playoff game.
It's different.
So I'm going to go 125 per. 250 total.
No, you're over.
Oh, I am over. Okay,
but not by much.
I said it was about 200. What did it end up?
You were close with that. It's $75 million per, so $150 million just for two Christmas games.
I guarantee it pays
$75 million
off.
per game.
I guarantee it pays off.
Oh, for sure it will.
And again, like I said, they want to be more in that live sports game as it is. And didn't we say that this is a 3-year deal they're doing, right?
Yeah, so 150 times 3. Do the math. $450 million for 3 years of Christmas.
And then they have
games.
an option for that 4th year. It could be up to $600 million. Right, and you know what that option is going to do? It's going to go up in price. And
oh my gosh. Crazy money. Crazy.
Do these players get a bonus on that actual Christmas day?
I have no idea. Doubt
You
it.
don't want to go full Scrooge and not give them a Christmas bonus for playing on Christmas.
They get their game check. Is what
bah
they get.
humbug.
They get their game check.
I was just wondering, Mr. Reed, Coach Reed, could I get Christmas off? No! Bah humbug. Andy Reid pulling the plug on family situations on Christmas Day. Just like him, right? Absolutely. All right. Those are the Christmas games. That's the big deal, of course. Amazon Prime, Thursday, December 26th. And then you're going to have that weekend, you're still going to have, that Sunday, you're going to have Jets at Bills. You're going to have Cowboys at Eagles. Ooh, that's a big weekend. Raiders at Saints. Packers at Vikings. Broncos at Bengals. Falcons at Commanders. And Dolphins at Browns. That's all part of the Sunday, the 29th. Those are just some of the games that have been
Filling
leaked.
out my vacation request
see?
now. Hit return.
What, to take those days off?
Yes.
Well, that's a good time of year to do it anyway.
Football
So you can watch
every
all these.
day.
Do you get in trouble for covering sports as your job and then watching it when you take the day off? I definitely get the eye roll. You didn't get enough. I'll come home from doing BYU pre and post game.
15 years ago, Doghouse.
Now
I roll.
Yeah.
We've
I come
moved
home.
into that
I
part
come
of the
home
relationship.
and I will be. We'll do the Big 12 show and everything, and I'll still come inside, turn on the TV, and watch more. I can't give it up.
Well, now we're going to have Big 12 After Dark.
Oh man!
Now that they've got West Coast teams.
Got West Coast teams.
It's got to make up for the Pac-12 After Dark
yeah.
that is now in the dark forever. Sad.
No, come on.
Oh, of course, we can't wait for that Washington State, Oregon State
Pac-2.
Pac-12 championship game.
They play every week. It's just all at 10 p.m.
Pac-2 championship. Is there? I can't wait for the Pac-2 championship game. It's going to be a thriller.
And they're going to have to do a lot, Mike, if they're going to make it to the Pac-2 championship game.
Are they going to put the Pac-2 championship game on Netflix?
Please. Did we already say what the
CW,
money
that's
is?
right.
CW
It's
money.
on the CW. It is on the CW. Their games are on the CW.
I'm glad it's not on the WB. The WB. With the frog, with the cane? Yeah. All right. So those are some of your NFL games. I'm excited about it. I'll absolutely watch all day Christmas.
Do you know what I'm not excited about?
Huh?
Watching the Jets.
What's wrong with the Jets? They got.
How good do you think the Jets are going to be next year?
They won 7 games this last year. I say they win 7 again. What's the over-under?
Don't even
Hey,
know.
Jeremy. Efforting. So there you go.
The Jets have 6 primetime games in 2024.
By the way, when you talked about all those days off, you weren't lying. You have Saturday the 21st of December, Sunday the 22nd, which is like the full schedule. Your Monday 9.5 is there a projected over under?
Hit the under, folks.
I am flabbergasted.
Go to Wendover now.
Now. For entertainment purposes only, of course. Let me see here. Saturday, December 21st.
Scott Gerard just jumped into his car right now.
Sunday, December 22nd. Monday, December 23rd.
Jeremy's asking for a ride.
How did they avoid a Christmas Eve game? Christmas Eve game avoided. That's a Tuesday, but I am this close to achieving my dream.
Tuesday.
I'm this close to achieving my dream of football every day, 365 days a year. It'd make our jobs.
I'm going to
easier.
gain all that weight I lost on Salt Lake City fat loss. I will.
I'm going to call you up and go.
Every pound.
Just during that time. Just during those
In
those
that
2
week.
weeks. Oh, my gosh.
I'm just going to be sitting on the couch eating buckets and buckets of chicken wings and every packageable type of chip you can make. And I'm going to be unrecognizable by the time it's over.
They were like, in memoriam. JJ, we hardly knew ye. You sat down to watch a football game, you didn't get up for 2 weeks, and then you didn't get up forever. And if your family member is deceased, call Garces. See, look, it could also work for a funeral home. Family member
To
deceased.
give Coach Garcesian.
I love
Garcesian mortuary.
I love how he said Garcesian. Like,
To give Coach Garcesian.
this is Garcesian. All right. That's a guy who worked in basketball his whole life, and you're going to have to be the commissioner of a conference. All right, what are the coaches' names? What's this one?
To give Coach Garcesian.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back. We got more to go. Final segment of the hour next. We'll get you your best and worst of the day. Maybe dip back into some of the comments that our buddy Draymond Green had to say about Rudy Gobert. Stay right here. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Final segment of the hour. As always, this portion of the show is brought to you by the incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. Visit Doug Smith dealerships in American Fork and Spanish Fork. Great service starts with know-how, and nobody knows like Doug. Here, Doug. All right, we had a best in the hopper here, but we've updated it. Just got an email from the public relations of the NHL, and it is official. We were wondering if he was going to be the guy, and the Utah NHL Hockey Club goalie, Connor Ingram, has won the NHL 23-24 Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy, which goes to the best goaltender in the entire league. That's not a bad start.
Actually, it goes to the player with the perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's not the best goalie.
But this is a guy who's, I mean,
but
this
it's a cool award. It's a very, very cool
And he was
award.
I think he was a third string goalie a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's essentially a guy who's been down and out and then has found his way to being one of the best goaltenders in the entire game. Bill Armstrong, the GM of the newest addition to Utah Pro Sports, the NHL team, says Connor's journey through adversity and his unwavering commitment to the game of hockey truly embodies the essence of the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. So there you go. That's a big deal, right?
He nearly retired due to obsessive compulsive disorder and lingering depression before seeking help from the player assistance program in 2021, and now he's one of the best goalies in the game. It's great. That's the purpose of the award, is to acknowledge a player who's overcome a serious injury or setback or something, and he earns the honor this year. So congratulations to Connor Ingram, who is now one of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to see on this press release, everything is Utah, 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 Utah.
It's cool.
They have a whole section dedicated to learning more about Smith Entertainment Group. Hey, get to know your brand new owners. There you go. So there's your best of the day. Your worst? Let's revisit something we did at the very top of the show just a few hours ago. It was, of course, Draymond Green and his thoughts on Rudy. In fact, I think that the longer cut where he talks about, is this the barbecued chicken one? Yeah. Let's get to what really, really stands out, and that is that Draymond Green has mutual respect for Rudy Gobert. Oh, wait. No, he doesn't. Here's what he said.
Meantime, Dre's got his eye on the MVP going up against the Defensive Player of the Year.
Barbecue chicken. It's happening. Listen, really? This has been the matchup everybody want to see, DPOY versus the MVP. And right now, Rudy Gobert don't stand a chance. The problem he's having is he's hitting him with bodies and giving him all the footwork. And Rudy Gobert is struggling. He's bringing him out on the floor, moving Joker all around
what should
the floor.
He do right here, Dre? What should he do right here?
There's nothing well, first off, you can't get back down like this. Like,
what about a little hand activity?
When he's on the perimeter, that's one thing, but you getting back down, put in the rim like that.
Okay.
That can't happen. There's a famous story of Rudy Gobert saying, listen, stay home on Joker. He said, brother, I got 42, and don't tell them to stay home. But just like the Knicks fans, I'm a truth teller. And right now, the truth is Rudy Gobert don't stand a chance against Joker, and that's the difference in this series right now.
Barbecued chicken.
Hey, Draymond, what game you playing right now?
Uh-oh.
Where are you at? Is your team in the playoffs still? Oh, no, you're in the studio. Taking cheap shots at somebody that you publicly have said you don't like.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
so
public.
you're not giving objective analysis to what's actually going on in the game. You have an agenda.
I thought you were going to go full on that you publicly choked out, because that also happened.
That did too. The Warriors are a dying dynasty because you suck now.
Oh.
You're washed. You're not good anymore. And now the Warriors aren't good either. At least Rudy's in the playoffs.
I was just trying to stay out of that totally so Jeremy could make a promo out of it. There you go. We'll take a break here. You suck, Draymond.
What are you
You're washed.
Are you going to send that to Draymond?
No, I'm saying we're making a promo out of it.
JJ said about
No, I'm not going to. And what is that, my voice? My wife has my voice for me when it's like,
Studio 5 Sports.
See?
You are Studio 5 sports anchor,
man.
Alex Geary.
Absolutely. All right. We'll take the break here. We'll come back again. We're going to come right back, and then we're going to have bottom of the hour next hour. You're going to have your pre-match show right here. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Take the Zone with you wherever you go. Download the KSL Sports app to get